Are products involving or derived from biological components significantly different from other products from a moral standpoint? Are patents a necessary motivator to drive scientific progress? Is it wrong to patent a living thing? As a former biotechnology major and a current biochemistry major, with a strong interest in bioethics and patent law related to biotechnology, I have strong qualifications to make the argument that biological patents are not inherently immoral, and that they have merit as a driver of scientific research and development. For our generation, the cutting edge of technology lies in the field of biotechnology. It will be important to our futures and the future of humanity for us to define the rights and wrongs of biotechnology. One such issue we will need to face is the practice of biological patents. Firstly, what are biological patents, and what are the issues surrounding them? Biological patents are a type of patent. According to the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office's 2020 webpage about the basics of patents, a patent grants the patent holder exclusivity to their invention or discovery. The purpose of a patent, according to this same website, is to promote the progress of science and useful art by ensuring that inventors and discoverers can attempt to make a profit before others can. Biological patents are patents for products made of or derived from biological materials. There are guidelines about what you can and cannot patent. According to the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office's 2020 FAQ page, inventions must be novel, useful, and non-obvious. According to the same webpage, things that cannot be patented are laws of nature, physical phenomena, abstract ideas, and creative works. Inventions also cannot be offensive to public morality. As outlined in existing laws, biological patents are clearly allowed. The only area in which there is question regarding the validity of patenting organisms is whether it is offensive to public morality. You may feel that patenting organisms is offensive to public morality. Learning that living organisms can be patented is unsettling. It makes you question the morality of the practice, and it takes effort to come to a conclusion. I remember when I first learned about biological patents, I came across an article about Harvard's oncomice. As detailed in an article from the World Intellectual Property Organization, oncomice are a line of lab mice genetically engineered to develop cancer. There's a very real need for more tools to research cancer, and model organisms are currently one of our best resources for learning about diseases. But these mice were patented by the institution that created them. Someone was profiting off of the design, suffering of living organisms. It was the first time that I seriously questioned the morality of my chosen career field of biotechnology. But even morally unsettling creations, like oncomice, are sometimes necessary. They fall under the same ethics as any other model organism used in the lab, which is a whole ethical debate on its own. But the current consensus is that we don't have any sufficient alternative, and the ethical concerns of halting all scientific and medical process requiring the use of model organisms is greater than the ethical concerns of using model organisms in labs. Biological patents in this situation still serve the purpose of patents, namely to encourage scientific progress. And the ethical questions surrounding this example are not a question of the morality of patents, but of using organisms in the lab at all. Oncomice are not representative of all biological patents either. We may decide that some specific biological patents are immoral, while the general practice is considered ethical. Biological patents cover a broad range of patent types. They refer not only to Harvard's oncomice, but to lovingly created plants. For example, I had a professor at my previous college who developed new kinds of roses. He would spend years carefully crossing rose varieties and growing them and crossing them again until he had developed a new type that could be marketed. It would be a shame if, after all the time and effort he spent working on each variety, someone else snagged all of the reward and he got nothing. If there is no guaranteed reward for a successful breakthrough, what is the motivation to spend enormous amounts of money and man-hours doing research? Not everyone has the luxury to work solely for their passions or the betterment of humanity. They have to eat and put a roof over their head. So there is a solid argument that biological patents are not inherently immoral. But what do they accomplish? Another angle to consider is that biological patents may not be necessary. Ethics aside, do we even need patents to encourage scientific growth in this field? According to a report by the National Science Foundation, businesses fund the majority of research and development in the U.S. Businesses don't invest money in something unless there's money to be made. Research is expensive. This is especially true for fields like biotechnology. Patents protect an inventor's claim to profit, and biological patents are no different. They ensure some kind of reward to the creator of a product to encourage active pursuit of science, instead of allowing those who would wait for someone else to create a new product to make as much profit as, if not more than, the inventor. Seeking Funding for Research by McWay Jones details the basic things to consider when estimating the cost of a research project, and there's a lot to consider. Materials, researchers, instrumentation, lab equipment, software, access to current literature, and support staff. Even publishing the final results of a research project can cost money. So what is there that we can do to protect biological patents? They're already legal. What more can be done? I simply ask for you to be aware of biological patents, to consciously accept them, and should the occasion arise, protect the practice. Learning that living organisms can be patented is shocking and uncomfortable. But I ask you to make a purposeful and careful decision about what you believe regarding biological patents. Look beyond your first impressions and see that they are not offensive to public morality. A report by the National Science Foundation found that nearly 50% of Americans believe that science is progressing too fast. Only 44% of Americans are confident in scientists. I ask you to support science and the systems in place to encourage scientific progress. I also ask you to protect biological patents when you can. Biotechnology is progressing quickly, and navigating the ethics of new biotechnology is only going to become more of a pressing issue for the general public. We will have to reform legislation for biological patents in our lifetime. Do not support future legislation that would make biological patents illegal, or too strictly limit their use. I will admit that these are not particularly concrete tasks that I have asked for you. They are demanding not only of your time and effort, but truly they ask for you to align your values with mine. I will also admit that it may seem that we have more pressing concerns like climate change and public health. These issues are important, but so is this one, and we are capable of working to address multiple issues at once. While biological patents are supported by current patent law, it is important to make the conscious decision to keep them that way as the field of biotechnology progresses. Biological patents are not unethical, and they are necessary to drive research and development of new technologies. We are the ones who must set the standards for the bioethics of tomorrow, and biological patents are part of that.